Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa. Get your education booklet in our daily newspaper, street sales, or at your school every Monday to Thursday for pre-primary up until grade 3. The lessons are for listening or watching online. Inside the newspapers, there is an insert of the lesson booklet. Please cut the top of the lesson booklet with a pair of scissors and fold it for ready to use. But there is more. We are also available on our online platforms, MyZone and Zoshi Facebook pages, and in addition, our website, Zoshi Online. Hello everyone and welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and thank you so much for joining me today. Our theme this week is customs and culture. And before we start any lessons, grade 2s, it's very important for us to sanitize. Remember, when we sanitize, we are showing the world that we care. We also need to practice social distancing as well. Make sure that your hands are dry before you touch anything else. Well done. For today's lesson, we will be talking about vocabulary, sight words, and reading. Our first exercise, boys and girls, let's turn to page 3. On page 3, we have our vocabulary words and our sight words. Now remember, vocabulary basically means words. So when we have vocabulary, we are learning new words and the meaning of those words. Let's read our vocabulary words. Please repeat after me. Play, games, friends, festivals, attire, he, be. Now we are going to learn the meaning of some of the words because we already know the meaning of the other words. The first word I want us to know is attire. Now, attire is anything that we are wearing. That's why we call it African attire, which basically means African clothing. So, attire means clothing. Then we have festivals. Now, festivals is when people celebrate a specific thing only once a year. It can be any kind of festival, maybe a cultural festival where people are celebrating different cultures. Or it can be a music festival or a food festival where people are celebrating different types of music or different types of food. The rest of the words I'm sure we know the meanings of. So I'd like us to please use the vocabulary words this week when we are making sentences. Let's read them again. Play, games, friends, festivals, attire, he, be. Now, let us move to our sight words. Now, sight words are words that we are going to see often and sometimes use when we are making sentences. When we see them, we are reading them. And I would like you to also use your sight words throughout the week. This week's sight words are, let's repeat after me, culture, customs, event, food, she, act. Make sure that you practice your vocabulary words and your sight words for this week. Now, let us move on to page 4. On page 4, we have a comprehension, and this comprehension is very interesting. We are going to read our comprehension the first time. Remember, boys and girls, we read our comprehension passage 3 times. The first one is to understand what it is all about. The second one is to find our answers. And the third one is to make sure that our answers are correct. So let us read it for the first time. Our family makes meals a special event. We do this by praying before we eat. It is our belief to thank God for the food He provides for us. We also pray before we sleep and when we wake up. This is a special time to celebrate God's glory. Do you also pray daily to say thank you to God? When do you like to pray? Our class prays when school comes out. We also pray right before we start our schoolwork in the morning. My teacher said that we please God when we say our daily prayers. Wow, this is a beautiful passage, and it is all about prayer. Now that we have read the passage a first time, before we do a second time, it's important for us to read the questions as well. So let us take a look at our questions. The first one says, we pray before we dash. The second one says, what is the special event in the story? The third one says, when does this class pray? And the last one says, do you pray? If yes, when do you pray? So the first one is a fill-in question where we are supposed to get the exact word from the story. Then number 2 says, what is the special event in the story? Which means after reading it a second time, we need to know what the special event is. And then the third one is asking for information. It's saying, when does this class pray? Remember, boys and girls, all your answers must be in full. And the last one is actually not in the story. It is asking you about yourself. It's saying, do you pray? If yes, when do you pray? So this last one, you are going to have to decide by yourself after reading the story a second time. So we are now going to read the story a second time. This time we are looking for our answers. So let us take a look at the story. Are you ready? Let's go. Our family makes meals a special event. We do this by praying before we eat. It is our belief to thank God for the food He provides for us. We also pray before we sleep and when we wake up. This is a special time to celebrate God's glory. Do you also pray daily to say thank you to God? When do you like to pray? Our class prays when school comes out. We also pray right before we start our schoolwork in the morning. My teacher said that we please God when we say our daily prayers. So now that we have read the story a second time, it is going to be your job to answer the questions. Remember, if you don't know what the question is asking about, go back and read the story again. It's okay to read it for more than 3 times. Just make sure that at the end of answering your questions, you check if they are correct by reading the story. Take your time, make sure your spellings are correct. Don't forget your capital letters at the beginning and your full stop at the end. And I will see you just now after the short advert break.
Do you have children in the age range of 5 to 6 years and want to participate in our school booklet program? Please contact us on 081 74 3759 and we will put you on our distribution list for the attention of pre-primary schools. Topics include family, summer, culture, traditions and houses, transport and communications, occupations, autumn and more. We distribute countrywide in over 7 different languages.
We have now come to the end of our lesson, boys and girls. And remember, if you don't understand, you can always ask for help. Now that we are done, it is very important for us to sanitize. So please take your sanitizer. And remember, grade 2s, we can also practice good social distancing as well. Make sure that you rub your hands nicely before you touch anything else. Well done. I want to try and call Zoshi with my little drum. I want to see if he's going to come and join us. Zoshi! There he is. Hello, Zoshi. So, from Zoshi and I, we would like to say thank you for joining us today and goodbye.
Our online school will help you along the way. Find us at www.zoshi.online and download the booklet. Follow us on Facebook to never miss a video. Subscribe to our Zoshi Telegram channel if you want to receive daily updates. Proudly sponsored by Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Namibian Community Trust, UNICEF for Every Child, My Zone Online School and Amos Meerkat Syllabus.